Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. I hope you are all doing well. Today I thought I would bring you a bit of a different one from what we've done recently. Today I thought I would bring you a little bit of a different one, so we're going to be sitting down and talking about how is the best way to grow your glutes in the gym. Gyms have reopened now and a lot of people are focusing on their goals. You know, we haven't been able to access the gyms during the whole of lockdown, so it's understandable that not only do people want to get back for their own mental health, but people do have aesthetic goals. I find that word really hard to say. Wow, I can't talk today. Aesthetic goals. Aesthetic goals. People want to look a certain way because they haven't been able to have access to the gym. So, you know, that's understandable. And I know that for a lot of girls and guys, of course, that growing their glutes is massively important to them. So I thought I would go through my workouts that are like my go-to grow your glute workouts. You need to be in a gym realistically to be able to grow your glutes. You need to be eating a lot of food. You are not going to be growing your glutes in a calorie deficit. Like, you can of course lose weight. You're gonna like lose fat in a calorie deficit because that's obviously the whole point, which might make you like lose weight off, say, your waist, which then gives you a like sort of that almost, what's it called, like an illusion that you've then like increased your size of your bum. But the likelihood is you've probably just literally done what I've said. You've shrunk your waist so your bum looks bigger. But if you actually want to grow your glutes, you're gonna need to consume some serious food. And that's okay. You don't need to be scared about eating more. Eating food is the best to start with. And also, you've got all the time in the world to lose weight. Why not try something different if you've never tried this before? Like maybe you I don't know, you want to grow your glutes, you're gonna need to eat, so don't be worried about it. I know it can be really difficult, so maybe reach out if you're looking for a program to follow. Obviously I'm still taking on online coaching clients, or if you're close to the area where I train, then reach out and we can get you booked in for some PT sessions. But anyway, let's start the video. If you do like it, please give it a big thumbs up, click the subscribe button and turn your notifications on. Hopefully this video is helpful, so please do let me know and comment below if it is. And let's get into it. So I have trained my glutes today and I thought it would be really interesting to include snippets of my workouts because they are my go-to exercises for growing my glutes. You see so much stuff on Instagram, from like booty band workouts to stairmaster workouts. They're not gonna grow your glutes. I'm sorry girls, they're just not. They're really not. That alone isn't gonna do it. Now if you're lifting heavy weights, eating a serious amount of food, and you add like a booty band in for extra resistance, of course that is gonna help. But just doing glute bridges with a booty band isn't gonna grow your bum. Like, it's just, you're gonna get to a point where you can't overload it that much, and yeah, you're just not gonna be making those same adaptations. You're not going to be making the same changes. Wow, I really can't speak today. This is so bad. You're not going to be making the same changes as you would be if you had access in a gym with weights. Obviously, with gyms open, now is your prime time to get back in there and use it to your advantage. So, all of my workouts to start with start out the same normally, regardless of whatever I'm training. They will start off with one exercise that will be repeated week on week. So for example, glutes will be my hip thrusts. Well, bench will be my, push will be my bench press. Squats, giving it away here. Quads, my quad day will be my squats. My pull day will be my deadlifts or my rows. And then I sometimes will leave it a functional day, which will be a little bit different. But if I do an extra glutes and hamstring day, it'll be sumo deadlifts. If I don't get those sumo deadlifts in, they will be done on glute day on Monday. So those ones get repeated all the time, and I see my strength does increase because I keep at them. Now, if you're constantly changing your exercises, you are not going to be seeing like progression, because you're constantly changing them and you're not letting your body adapt to those exercises. It's never gonna like get to that point where you're progressively overloading it, because you're constantly changing it. Your body needs to work at something for a while and slowly increase it rather than change it. It's like if you bought a new like a moisturizer and it said that it was going to get rid of all your wrinkles or whatever, you're not going to expect to see changes within the first day, week, probably not even a month of using it. You're gonna need to use it for a long period of time for you to be able to actually see physical changes. Your workout is no different. It's the same with if you want to lose weight and you're on a diet. One day of dieting isn't going to make a difference. You need to work at it consistently. That's the same with your exercises. So when I go in, I always do a few minutes of glute activation with a booty band. Now this will just be a light booty band, so there'll be things like glute bridges with a booty band, some fire hydrants, donkey kicks, some like banded like monster walks, cha-chas, or like side walks, that sort of thing, just to activate the glutes, because I'm one of those people that have really lazy glutes, and if I'm doing hip thrusts, my quads will take over unless I've activated my glutes. So in that sense, booty bands are important. So I spend about 5 minutes doing that. I won't do anything that's like really going to tire my glutes out, but just something that I can really feel it. Also, bird dogs without a glute band when you're putting one arm out and the other opposite leg out, that is so super helpful. And I just find that, yeah, just take a little bit of time to activate, warm up the muscle, because you wouldn't just start running straight off. You're going to warm up first. So the workout is the exact same. You need to prepare the muscles for exactly what you're about to put them through. Now, my rep ranges do change occasionally, or when like, to be honest, I haven't been really on it recently with like tracking my workout progress. So today starts from the start, so that's why I thought I'd include this video for you guys. So I will be quite consistent. A lot of my lifts, if I'm trying to improve my strength, I will be doing 5 by 5, so that's 5 sets of 5 reps at like a percentage of my 1 rep max. So I'll be pushing for that strength. If I'm having a day where strength isn't really important to me, or I just want to get a workout done, or I want to be working for a little bit longer period of time, I might lower the weight down and work at about 4 sets of like 10 to 12 reps, sometimes 8 if I want to go a little bit heavier. But yeah, I tend to stay in the range of 8 to 12 for a lot of my exercises, except for my main ones, which might lower down into the 5s. Sometimes I'll push for 1 rep max or like 3 rep max, just because it's interesting. I like to see how strong I'm getting, which can also be quite a good boost of motivation if you are looking for other forms of motivation other than just like progress or getting on the scales. For me, tracking my progress in the gym with weights and stuff that I'm lifting is always super helpful. So today I did hip thrusts. They were heavy hip thrusts, so we started off with a warm-up set. Always good to warm up, just get your body used to the workout. And then I went in with 1 set of 10, 1 set of 8, 2 sets of 5, and then back up to 1 set of 10. So just a little bit of a range just to work within the weights, because I hadn't done the exercise for so long and I wanted to sort of see where my strength is at. I will include a clip here of my like form and everything so you can see the hip thrust and the exercise itself, so you know exactly what I'm talking about, just in case you're not quite sure, because that's absolutely fine. So yeah, I will start off with hip thrusts. That will be, I would tend to do about 4 to 5 sets of my first compound lift. It is a compound because you are moving more than one joint at a time during the lift, and obviously it is going to be taking out a lot of energy of your body because you're lifting such a heavy weight. Hip thrusts are one of the most important exercises for growing your glutes because they get such a good glute activation and it really engages all of your glutes. Squats are great, but they're going to mainly work your quads. You want to be looking for exercises that are focusing on the glute being the main muscle that it is working. So like I said, squats and deadlifts of course are going to be so helpful for growing your glutes, but primarily your glutes aren't the main muscle that is being worked there. So things like hip thrusts are going to be, and the rest of the exercise that I'm going to show you throughout this workout. So yeah, they're the hip thrusts. Making sure that I'm resting in between about 1.5 minutes or so, just to allow my glutes to recover, because they do hurt after you come back down after lifting that sort of weight. Remember, you want to go for heavy, but It's your heavy, it's not heavy because someone else is doing it and you're struggling. It's whatever you can manage, but you're pushing yourself. And you want those reps to be a struggle. You don't want them to be easy, because otherwise you're not pushing yourself to that limit. So that's exercise number 1. Exercise number 2 is barbell stiff leg deadlifts. I normally always do some sort of variation with this. It might be with dumbbells. Today I went with barbells because I hadn't done them for so long, and it felt really good. Today I did 4 sets of 10. Again, sometimes this might be 4 sets of 8. That's what I tend to stick between. And yeah, the main one with this, like, just to go over the form, you want to keep your head down, as you can see in this sort of video. So you've got that neutral spine. So otherwise, if you're going down and your head's staying up, you're putting a lot of pressure on your top of your spine. So just make sure that your head is staying down in a neutral position, nice flat back. The whole point here is you're going to be working your glutes but also your hamstrings, because you are sticking your bum to the back and you'll feel that full stretch in your hamstrings. You want a slight bend in your knees, of course, but you're going to be engaging that whole back of your legs. Of course, your whole lower posterior chain is going to be working as well, like your core, your lower back, just because it's stabilizing the movement, but it is, again, a very glute dominant exercise. So I will include the video of that barbell deadlift, stiff leg deadlift clip. Again, you've got lots of different variations, dumbbells. You could do them with RDLs. You can do them in a sumo stance, which is again going to target more of the glutes. Again, it doesn't really matter too much. Things like that, again, it's still like a compound lift, which I'll tend to keep those sort of the same, but I might vary it on how I do it. So after this, you'll start to see sort of more of the accessory work coming in. So I tend to have about 2 to 3 compound lifts per workout, and then the rest accessories, which I do change my accessory workouts occasionally, just because sometimes I want to try new exercises, or I see something in the gym that someone else is doing and I think, oh, I haven't done that for a while. Those ones sort of don't matter too much because they are just your accessories, and of course you want to see progress, so I'm not recommending changing it constantly, but if you want a bit of a switch up, or you feel you haven't done something for a while, it's always good because your body does sort of think, oh, this is new, let's try this, but then sit with it for a little bit. So moving on, I had a superset next, which was a single leg RDL with a kettlebell into some bodyweight step-ups. Now, to start with, single leg exercises, especially for your glutes, are going to be super important, because it is quite common for someone to have one glute a little bit lazier than the other. It might not fire up and activate as easy as the other one. So if you're engaging with single leg exercises, you're going to be working predominantly one side more than the other, and then you switch. So if you're doing like a stiff leg deadlift with the barbell, if your left side of your glute is weaker, it doesn't matter so much because you're moving as one, so your right side will sort of carry your left side through. With single legs, if your left side is weak, your left side is going to work twice as hard because it needs to do it. Your right side can't take over and sort of take on half of the effort. So it is really good for improving your strength that way. And that's the same with any sort of exercise. If you're able to use it, what's the word? Unilaterally, is it unilateral? Like a single movement. Same with upper body. If you want to increase your strength and you feel you've got one side weaker, go with those things. Work with dumbbells and things like that, because when you start working with barbells, if you're doing like a shoulder press or something and your left side's weaker, your right side can sort of compensate, whereas if you are working with dumbbells, you're gonna have to push twice as hard to get it at the same rate, basically. So that's again the same with all sort of body exercises. So having a single leg in there is really beneficial for just engaging that particular glute muscle. Throughout the workout, you will see that I use a range of different types of exercises. So these will be stretchers, activators and pumpers. So your stretchers will be ones that are stretching the muscle out. Your activators are ones that are squeezing the muscle in. So your stretchers, for example, will be the stiff leg deadlifts. The activators will be the hip thrust, and then the pumpers will be the more like banded work, or the ones where it's sort of isolating the exercise. Just as a little what they mean, the stretcher is when it is being stretched and broken down the muscle, it will be working its hardest to sort of adapt the muscle. Then with the activator, when it is being squeezed, that is when it's being worked its hardest. So for example, the glute bridge, the hip thrust, when you're up there, you're squeezing as tight as possible. And the pumpers are just basically working overtime. They're going to be stressing the muscle. So that's why that's going to help work it. But you do need a collection of all three, not just booty band pumper exercises. That's only going to get you a nice juicy little pump on. It's going to last about an hour or so. So I supersetted that exercise into, I'll show you here, bodyweight step-ups. So step-ups are really good because you are using your glute muscles. Again, you are using them unilaterally. I don't know if it's bilaterally, unilaterally. You're using them individually on their own, so each glute is having to power up. It's also going to be working your core because you need to stabilize yourself. A lot of people will find that they've got one leg a lot stronger than their other one, which tends to send them off balance and then feel like they don't enjoy those exercises. And that is the same with lunges, but I promise you, if you work on your core strength, your balance will become a lot better. So yeah, glute with step ups, you want the step to be higher than, so when you lift your leg up, your leg is bending higher than 90 degrees, so you're having to really push through, and that way you're stretching out the glute before you push up into it, and then you're squeezing it at the top. With this, you want to really slow the movement down, so you're not jumping up into it and then lowering yourself back down and coming down with a thud. You want to control it, so you're coming up, lightly tapping and coming back down, back up, lightly tapping and coming back down, just so you've got a little bit more control and it is your glute muscle that's working and not you using your whole body to sort of almost force yourself up and then come back down as a thud. So yeah, just make sure you're doing that. In terms of the fact that I've supersetted these two, I have supersetted them for no particular reason really, just other than they go well together. And I also like to superset exercises that are similar to each other in location to the gym. I am not one of those people that will superset something, one piece of equipment to another piece, especially during COVID. It is so difficult because you're supposed to be wiping things down, and I don't want to walk away from a machine, someone else gets on it, and then you end up not having wiped it down, or you ruin your set because someone else has jumped on it. So if I'm doing anything, it will be like a machine and a dumbbell exercise or 2 free weights, just so I can sort of stay close by and superset it that way. I just hate walking from one end of the gym to the other just to do a superset. So I will try and be quite conscious about other people as well, especially like I said during COVID and the limited space and equipment and things like that. So yeah, I supersetted those because they were in the same area basically, and they also went quite well together because I was working 2 singular exercises, so I was really pushing those 2 muscles. I'm doing 2 similar exercises but slightly different, so they were really going to be tiring each glute out. So after that we move on to my 2 accessories. So the first one is our abductor machine. So this is similar to a band, but obviously with the weight, you're going to be pushing yourself a little bit more because you can progressively increase the weight week on week from the pin loaded machines. Whereas with a band, you're only gonna be able to progress it a certain amount with each band that you have, and then you're going to get to a point where it's just going to become a little bit easier. I also haven't used an abductor machine for so long because every gym that I've been at recently hasn't had one, and now where I'm working with one it makes sense to add it back in because I do really enjoy it, and where I haven't used it for a while, my legs really do feel it, so that's my main reason for adding that one in. Again, it's sort of like an accessory move, so I would say do ones that you're going to enjoy and that you know you're going to stick at in terms of your accessory, but just try not to change them around too much. They would be my main tips. Obviously in terms of exercise, try and do what you enjoy regardless, because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to stick at it, you're not going to be consistent, and therefore you're not going to make progress. So doing what you enjoy is absolutely key to all exercise basically. My final glute accessory was hyperextensions. So I had it with a plate, so you will notice in the video I have a more rounded back and I'm only coming up partially. This is because I'm focusing more on the glutes and the hamstrings rather than my lower back. If I was doing back extensions, I would be sort of coming up completely so I was fully straight. Obviously your whole lower posterior chain is going to be working anyway, but I wanted to mainly focus on the glutes here as it was my glute focus day. So that's why I'm staying rounded back, which is quite unusual because most exercises you always want a nice flat back, but with these I go with the rounded back and really squeeze the glutes at the top. I added a weight just to push myself a little bit more. It's another good way of just like being able to make the exercise harder. Again, those little bits of progressive overload. In terms of like exercises, I would say try not to overdo it with the amount of exercises that you do. Sometimes less is like better, just because you can really work hard at them. Like sometimes my quad days are 4 or 5 exercises only. Again, you don't need to superset every single exercise. Supersetting is great if you want to work that time and attention a little bit longer, or if you are under time restraints in the gym, they can be really beneficial. Or if you're like a full body trainer, it can be quite good because you can get a little bit more done within your session. But I do like to focus on each exercise individually, so I tend to only superset 1 or 2 exercises from each session. But yeah, don't overcomplicate don't overcomplicate it. There's no reason to add like 10 exercises in there and feel like you need to do every single exercise every single time and target every single part of your glute, hamstring and all of that. You don't want to do too much and then be ineffective because your body's so tired and it can't do anything. And you also want to make sure that you are able to recover in enough time to repeat it. So if you want your glutes to grow, I'm going to recommend training glutes 3 times a week, not just glutes. So I'd say have a glute focused day and then move on to like upper body to allow your body to rest. Then I would go with like a quad focused day with some glute elements, maybe some like reverse lunges, so you're still getting that quads but it's targeting glutes as well. You can superset things with like sumo goblet squats or something like that. So it's glute focus, it's quad focus, but you've got that glute element. And then I would say train your upper body again, and then with the 5th day you can add in your 3rd glute session, which I would say focus more glutes, hamstring, maybe the whole lower posterior chain, just to really focus and nail home that glute growth. If you're only training glutes once a week, they're not going to grow because you're not pushing them as hard. But do also listen to your body and sort of know how long it takes your body to recover, because I know I can train glutes 3 times a week and still be okay, but some people might only be able to fit it in twice because their glutes aren't recovering. And if your glutes aren't recovering between each session, they're not going to be growing because you're not going to give them time to rest, recover and then adapt. So that's also really important. So yeah, that was my workout. I hope that was helpful and you got to see a little snippet of sort of like how I train as well. I will hopefully be doing more workout videos for you guys because I do really enjoy them, and I want my YouTube channel to be as educational as possible. As much as I love clothes hauls, I want to come from an educational kind of standpoint because that's what I'm here for as a personal trainer and an online coach. I want to help you progress and achieve what you want to achieve. So yeah, if glute growth is your main goal, then like I said, don't do too much. Lift heavy weights, don't overcomplicate it. Stick to what you know, like the things that are most common, your squats, your deadlifts, all of that sort of thing, is because they work. That's why they're so popular. It's not, oh, I need to come up with something new. They're popular for a reason, because they work. So just stick with those and eat some food. You're gonna have to eat, gal. You are gonna have to eat food and enjoy it. Like, make the most of it. Absolutely enjoy it. There's too much focused on we need to lose weight. Well, we don't. We just eat some food and grow some glutes. That's what I'd say. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, click the subscribe button and turn your notifications on, and I will see you again for another video very soon. See you later.